This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. I don't know how many times I have to talk about the cult that surrounds Donald Trump and that the Republican Party has just transformed itself into. This strange adherence to loyalty to a man who has no loyalty for anyone other than himself within him, who blames everyone else for the problems of the country, for his own problems, for the party's problems, for individual candidates' problems, for electoral problems. There is no problem that exists that originates with Donald Trump. Everybody else is to blame, including this race last night that took a Democrat back into the seat that was once held by George Santos. It was a Democrat seat, then it was his seat, and now it's a Democrat again. And he won by nearly 8 points in 2020, was unceremoniously removed for his alleged criminality and corruption and lies and all of the nonsense drama that surrounded that. But he won that seat by nearly 8 points, and now it has been reversed by nearly 8 points. I mean, the full vote's not in, but it is out of the reach of this Mazi Pilip, who lost. And now Donald Trump is blaming her, not blaming the agenda of Republicans, the lack of acuity, the lack of understanding of what Americans, especially in this district, want. He's not blaming himself. He's blaming her for being, what's the word he used? Well, we'll get to it. I can't see the exact, like she's terrible or whatever it is. This is what he said. Republicans just don't learn. Apparently he understands what they need to learn, but maybe she was still a Democrat. I have an almost 99% endorsement success rate in primaries and a very good number in general elections as well. But just watch this very foolish woman. That's the word I was searching for. Very foolish woman, Mazi Pilip, running in a race where she didn't endorse me and tried to straddle the fence when she would have easily won if she understood anything about modern day politics in America. And then he inexplicably switches to all caps, screaming into the night. This was just before midnight. If she understood anything about modern day politics in America, MAGA, which is most of the Republican Party, stayed home, and it always will unless it is treated with the respect that it deserves. I stayed out of the race. I wanted to be loved. Give us a real candidate in the district for November. Swozy, I don't know how to say his last name, I know him well, can be easily beaten. I'm sure he knows him well. But this is a threat to Republicans themselves. If you don't endorse me, she did, by the way, we'll get to those receipts. But if you don't endorse me, if you don't worship me, if you don't put me on a pedestal as a demigod, you're going to fail, because I will encourage, here he's just acknowledging that MAGA will stay home. But this is also just an aberration of any attention to reality. Donald Trump doesn't win when he endorses. Donald Trump has been a loser. Never won the popular vote in a general election for himself. Lost the 2020 election by over 7 million votes. Since he took office in 2017, it's been loss after loss after loss after loss. When his history is on his side, that after Biden takes office, that there will be a massive wave, and the Republicans would take over in the midterms, the House of Representatives and the Senate. They didn't take the Senate, and they barely took over the House. So much so that this impeachment farce vote yesterday was a razor thin margin. One vote separated between impeaching and not impeaching. Donald Trump does not have a stranglehold on winning. For as much as he talked about it, you're going to get so sick and tired of winning, blah, all the nonsense. But here is where the lie is here, is that he's saying she didn't endorse me, which really means she didn't endorse me strong enough, I guess. Because here's video of the very foolish woman he's talking about singing only the highest praises for the dear leader, Donald Trump.
And I'm going to try to focus on November 2024 election.
Now says she'll back Trump if he's the nominee, as she defends him from his 91 criminal charges.
I will support
But if
Trump.
he's convicted, would you still support
Again,
him?
I said I don't want to answer on that even iffy. He was great president. He did great things. And listen, right now what's happening with Trump, all these DAs like Alvin Bragg, they are politically motivated to run after him.
Do you have the same concerns about his efforts to overturn the election, being charged?
I can't.
On this?
I know that he didn't commit any crime. They are politically motivated.
Do you think he was responsible in any way for what happened on January 6th?
As I said again, he's going through the process right now. This is again those the same people who politically motivated trying to run after him. It is such a dangerous thing for our country. We have to stop it.
I don't know about you, but that seems like an endorsement of Donald Trump to me. It's certainly not critical. It's certainly not straddling the fence, like he said in his Truth Social post. That was adulation for Donald Trump. He's done everything right. He's great. Everything's great. He's the dear leader. We need to do what he says. I'm bending the knee, but it wasn't enough, because now in being retroactive, he's like, well, she didn't endorse me. That's why she lost. Rewriting history, which is something that Republicans are very good at. They're either rewriting it or just ignoring it altogether. We don't want to hear it. No. CRT, woke, whatever. They're not going to get it. They don't understand fundamentally the gulf of separation between their positions and the vast majority of Americans. They don't understand it. They're trying to force their will because they can't do it through normal argumentative manner. They can't just convince America through policy that their positions are solid. They have to do it through trickery and lies and force. Anyway, what do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, as always, you can email me. Those are sometimes a wild ride. Daily@dollemore.com is where you do that. If you appreciate what I do and you want to help support this work, help produce what I do on this channel, click the join button below and become a channel member to support independent media, this independent media in particular. As I've said, if there's somebody else out there on this platform or another platform that does something for you that's more, gives you more value, please support them. But if I'm your guy, I would appreciate it. You can also go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Make sure you're subscribed. I'm creeping up on 600,000 subscribers, and I appreciate you for being here. Follow me on the social media if that's your thing. I'm at Dollemore, and I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.